Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another RSG stream. I'm Ranger J 1999, your host and part of the RSG crew. Welcome back to another lunch stream. And if you're wondering what the hell the lunch stream is, that's where we hang out with you wonderful folks for the next hour or so. We'll do a roster review, we'll answer questions, we'll get goofy, we'll get silly, we'll do all that kind of stuff. So, welcome, everybody. If you do have a question, go ahead and pop that into the chat. Make sure you put question in front of the statement. It just helps us scoop it up so we can identify it as a question. Also, if you haven't, go ahead and put a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe if you haven't already, so you know when we're streaming live. We do a lot of live streaming, do a lot of games. So the best way to know about it, whether it's Galaxy Heroes or any of the other games and stuff that we do, that's the best way to know about when we're streaming. So go ahead and subscribe. Obviously, here you watch the channel a lot. Just subscribe. It helps us out, helps you out. It's a win-win situation. Also, if you haven't checked out our Patreon, we got our Patreon going, and we've got our ACS campaign going as well, and we'll get to that later on. All right, let's introduce the knuckleheads that are with me, all from the RSG crew here to hang out with us. We've got Grim the Mechanic, who apparently is silent.
I forgot to turn on my push to talk. But how's it going?
That's right. That happens. We also have Xylo Takedown with us.
Hey, what's up? Happy Friday, everybody.
Happy Friday. We also have the French Tickler, the Brown Gandalf, the Government Wi-Fi Stiller, the Beardless One, the Chicken Chaser himself. Grande Patron is here.
What's up? It's your boy, Lord Grande Verga Patron.
Pool boy.
Yeah, the pool boy. Grande's the pool boy now. That's fantastic.
I have like 20 nicknames. I don't even... I tried to write them all out one day, and someone's like, you forgot that one, and you forgot that one, and you forgot that. And I'm like, damn.
Imagine all Grande's nicknames on the back of like a basketball jersey. It would look like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar like 10 times over.
Oh, God. And also, last but not least, we have, I think he's here, the troll extraordinaire, Dr. Finn Medicine Woman. Or is he still in his meeting?
I think he's still in his meeting.
Okay, so he's still in his meeting, so I'm sure he'll pop in and say hi as soon as he's ready to go. So, all right, so let us do what we always do, and let's do our roster review. And we have, let's see, today we are doing Juzmas, and they're in Dark Lords, Blue Squadron 701st. My God, how many guilds and frickin' Dark Lords are there?
Dark Lord 1000.
There are 18 Dark Lord guilds.
Jesus Christ.
There are 18, and we may end up getting another 6 more, which would make us 24 guilds.
I mean, what the hell?
Because we have another group that's like, hey, can we cut? And we're like, and you know, the top end leadership is like, how do we manage that? And we're like, I don't really think we do. Let's just have everybody be kind to each other. How about that? And then let's just roll on. And everybody's like, sweet, we'll just be kind and roll on to each other.
All right, and what is Juzmas? I hope I'm saying your name right. Juzmas. They are looking mostly for raid teams for the Heroic Sith raid, and some advice on where their ship meta is heading, because they're kind of stuck in the old meta. Well, the ship meta is still the ship meta. We'll look at some ships that maybe you can change it up with and give you some advice, but there's not enough ships in there besides Houndtooth, in my opinion. I mean, the Anakin ship is really nice on the Galactic Republic fleet, but we'll get into that here in a second. So let's kind of look through Heroic Sith raids. Let's kind of take it like we always do. Phase 1.
JTR.
It's JTR. So let's filter this and look at his resistance. Let me, if it'll work. Come on, GG, work with me.
He's running resistance in arena.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you, he's going to be, he should be pretty good.
Yeah. He's got, now, so the two things that I noticed is that one, the team I'm assuming he's running, someone look if he's got a Hermit Yoda, please, while I'm looking at resistance. He's got JTR.
Yeah, he got his Gear 10, and he's got Zeta on him, too.
Okay, so for this, the team that I use, and I usually get between 6 and 8%, I'm not really trying, but I use it, is JTR, R2, BB-8, Scav Ray, and I'll throw in Hermit Yoda. and it works perfectly for me. You've got those
He
pieces.
could do that.
Yeah, absolutely, you can do that, and that's your perfect phase one team. The other
Oh,
team
he's got the big Zeta on him.
some go straight all in resistance, so they'll go JTR R2 BB8 resistance trooper. Now yours is only gear 9. You'll have to get them minimum gear 11.
Minimum
Ideally,
gear 11, and still mine was still too freaking squishy at gear 11.
yeah, it's about
He died all the freaking time.
Yeah,
and I finally you can actually leave, and the problem had to do with he didn't have enough health steal.
yeah.
Ray can actually survive at gear 11.
Oh yeah.
Relatively well. I mean, surprisingly well.
The reason I
But
run,
it has to do
yeah,
with
the reason I run
freaking
Hermit
health
Yoda in there is because he's giving back health and protection, and plus you get the triple mollywops because they're all resistance when you do his little Hermit Yoda buff. And for me, I find that the JTR R2 BB8 and Ray Scavenger with Hermit Yoda is always the best bet. Now you can run.
He's gonna have to mod him. He's gonna have to mod BB8 and R2 for crit chance.
Yeah,
but as long as he does that,
crit and speed,
he'll be good.
You know, those are.
Well, I went offense with R2 because he shares that offense.
You could do that, yeah.
Offense and crit chance, and then another thing you can do for like survivability, even at gear 11 for trooper, like when you're calling BB8 to assist, obviously that's the better option for damage output. But for survivability, you can call resistance trooper to assist and give him foresight, so he's gaining more survivability that way.
Yeah, I mean, resistance trooper, in my opinion, has to be gear 12.
I really agree with you
because
he doesn't have enough health steal, and what happens is he dies from force drain.
Yeah, and if you don't have a Hermit Yoda or a Visas and somebody that's helping regenerate that health and health or protection, then you're just you're not going to get the bigger scores. That's why I like Hermit Yoda in that team in some form of capacity, because you're going to get your damage from Scav Ray, and you're going to get your assist damage from Ray BB8, and she's going to call in the third assist. Those 3 assists plus Hermit Yoda. Once you get the boss on everybody, Master's training, you're rocking and rolling, and that's where you get your big scores. Again, 6 to 8% is. I mean, that's 3, 4, 5 million. I don't at the top of my head.
Totally agree.
You know, and that's all you really need. I mean, I'm not trying to get number 1 in the raid, but I'll do. You know, this team 5 million, phase 2 get another 5 million. You know, phase 3 get a couple million. Phase 4 use my Night Sisters get another 3 to 5 million. You know, that's 15 million. You know, I'll finish in between 10 and 20. You know, my tray's about to be 7 stars. You know, I'm 5 away. So this next raid, I don't even have to do anything, and I'll get a 7-star tray. But this is the team that you really want to run. I mean, there are other comps people recommend, but I mean, that's because you don't have this team, and this is the team you need to run. So I think we've got phase 1 covered. Phase 2, let's kind of look at.
I'm thinking his Sith team.
You got a lot of teams you can run.
Well, let's look at so let's look at Sith, because the other one is the General Kenobi, Wampa, that kind of team. But let's look at possible teams.
I'm thinking of Palpatine, Scion, Nihilus. You know, if he would work a little bit on Sith Assassin and a little bit on Sith Trooper, I think that team could work out insanely well. He could put Vader on that team.
Yeah.
And he could put somebody like Maul on that team.
Well, Vader works really well because with all the debuffs and stuff that is going to help Nihilus get his cooldown, because you're not killing the ads. You're doing is you're focusing fire all on Scion, and what you're doing is you're allowing all those dots and stuff to exist on the ads on the outside and on Nihilus, and that's helping Nihilus's Annihilate get cooled down, and you're just constantly 999 in his ass.
What did I come back to?
Well, if you were,
your apprentice is on.
Oh,
who's on?
He is. Where's my apprentice? Where is he? Put the apprentice on.
I put him on the camera. Like every time I'm on and I take my mic off, he just.
Oh, really?
He's mesmerized by you guys.
Oh, there you go. Hello, my apprentice. I see you wearing a doggy shirt that is unacceptable. Why are you smiling? Why are you smiling?
That's so awesome, dude.
All right, my apprentice.
All right, I'm your biggest fan, guys.
It is not 101 Dalmatians.
I'm showing him right now.
You guys don't watch Paw Patrol. That is Paw Patrol.
Shut up, Finn. Me and my apprentice are speaking. All right, my apprentice, I have some training for you. I want 10 force strokes on your father every day. Randomly.
That's hilarious, man.
And when you're playing with the other children, use your force lightning when they don't let you have the blocks. That's right. Look at me when I'm speaking to you, my apprentice. The force
No,
is
man.
I am kind
strong
of
with you.
but I am a rebel person myself. I'm just throwing that out there.
And tell your father that I want only black clothes on you from now on. Robes
Black
only.
Black clothes, yeah.
Oh, black.
He smiled. He smiled when he said
I
black.
did.
clothes.
We got
Right.
we got a smile out of
Say,
that.
Father, I need a kyber crystal as well.
It's an emo guy already. He's emo.
Hey, we gotta
man.
eat lunch now. We go eat
All
lunch.
right.
All right. Have a good lunch, my apprentice. Grow strong and kill your father. Only then can he take his place about my side.
Grow
But
strong.
not yet. You must grow strong and eat your veggies.
Oh my god.
Go strong, eat your veggies and kill your father. That's what.
I have spoken.
Awkward moments with Ranger J 1999.
Oh my goodness.
It's the only way to get fully empowered in the dark side of the force.
Oh man. Oh my god.
That
Okay,
is
back
science.
to our normal
101
program.
ways to raise your kid, Dark Side Edition.
Oh my
That's
God.
right. It was I
Okay.
who allowed Sandy to have or Zyla to have a child.
Oh man, my sides.
All right.
More
Okay.
P2 teams. Crew, potentially.
Yeah,
Are
we
we
can look at
looking
it
at
as first order. Yeah, let's look at first order. It's a solid team. Doesn't get the highest scores, but it'll get you some solid scores. Because really, what you're doing, if you have executioner, you're going in there like a champ and going Kassan Chop. It's all about
First order
executioner.
actually works
Too bad
kind of
his
okay in
executioner
P3
is
as well.
It
Tier
can.
1.
So he still needs some help. He's got a 7-star executioner. He just needs to work on
It's
leveling
gear.
and gearing a little
Yeah.
bit.
His first order's not ready, so it's not even.
First
bothered.
order's not ready. So let's not.
But let's look at the.
Neither is his Imperial Troopers.
Well, okay, so that's okay, but we can go with the team. We've got Hermit Yoda, which you should save out of Phase 1. You bring him into
Yep.
Phase 2. Now, does he have? Let's see. He should have. Let me look.
I don't see Wampa.
That's
no
what
Wampa.
No Wampa. Shit.
Not that I
Means
can.
We're going machine gun.
Yep, we're going machine gun.
So we got to look at rebels. Akbar could work. Leia could work.
Shotgun Leia.
And now-
Yeah.
And now we need to look for. We could put GK on the team then. So let's look at Jedi. Not Jawas. Jedi.
Houses Enfys.
Not seen Enfys.
Enfys is 3-star. Enfys is another potential on that. So it's interesting, right? Enfys can work well on the Machine Gun Leia team as a way of soaking up damage because you can run Akbar, Leia, Sabine, Hermit Yoda, and Enfys and run a really, really slow Enfys. And essentially what happens is Enfys is just going to keep on gaining protection over and over again. And hopefully your Leia keeps on going a little bit quick. So you could potentially run that, but you don't have the Enfys either. So you probably are going to
So
be
now we
running
need to look for
Kenobi.
2 tanks, right? Kenobi works. So now we need to
Kenobi
look
works,
for-
and if the rest of the
Tanks.
troopers aren't ready, what about Shore Trooper?
I'm looking at the troop. I'm looking at tanks right now.
Shore Trooper's
would-
tier 10.
Shore Trooper would work. And then for our next tank is probably First Order Stormtrooper.
You have to get the gear on him. But yeah, that
I
could
know
work.
it. All right. Other
So,
other P2 teams?
well, we've got him a Sith team, and I don't think
Scoundrels
not ready yet.
or bounty hunters?
Not ready yet. I mean,
Ugh, yeah.
so
We really need Bosk leads. So, but you can tell
Yeah.
he's working on Bosk.
yeah. So honestly, you've got pieces. We've got Sith for Phase 2. We got JTR for Phase 1. We're just focusing on this. So let's P3 is Chex Mix. I mean, with or without Chewie. And I'm looking for your Chewie right now.
I was actually looking at some different teams earlier
Have you found
for
any?
P3. Yes. So I was watching
Chewbacca
a
6-star.
couple
Okay,
of-
so we can't use Chewbacca. So
So the teams I was looking at was so Chex Mix. There's a guy named like Rays of Bone spelled with a 3 that had a team that he called Rolo Cop instead of RoboCop. Rolo Cop that he used that was wedge lead.
I can see that.
Jin Urso,
Okay.
and Rolo. And the idea here is that you gave advantage to Rolo when Jen used her AoE, and then she used standalone, which meant that she hit for 9 times, and they were all crits. And the second two could be any attackers.
The 40Ks. I remember that.
And then the next 2 could be any kind of attacker. And he particularly threw on Night Sister Initiate and threw on Vader because of the event bonuses they got. He gets, now granted this is a full Gear 12 team, but he gets close to 1 million damage in P3 with that team.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
Why?
So I was like,
you're better off with Rebel attackers, just for reference, because they get the benefit from Wedge Lead. So, and then that increases the amount of standalone. I don't know why you would go that far and then go Initiate and Vader.
I mean, he ran it like 5 or 6 times, and like I said, he got around 1 million damage.
It's an alternate team if you want to do some extra damage.
It is. Yeah. We've talked about the Rolo team before too, right? Because the whole thing about Wedge is that he gives 10% offense. Rolo, you standalone after the topple.
Standalone.
Jin is nice because of the advantage, like you said. I didn't realize she crits on all 9 automatically, so that's pretty cool.
No. It's only whenever you have to use Jin's AoE special.
Yeah,
and you have
you give
Rolo.
Advantage to Rolo, and then Rolo does standalone and then AoEs. Yep.
Correct. That's the deal.
But I didn't realize it was on all the hits would get advantage. Yes. I thought it was okay.
No, all the hits. Anyway,
okay.
It's kind of a cool video. And then of course, obviously, that Greedo mix team is not ready. Troopers are not ready, and this guy did 1 million damage with a team that he called In-Trail Mix with Nest, which was Dooku, Night Sister Initiate, Night Sister Acolyte, Jedi Knight Anakin, and Nest. I was like, effectively what is a counter team, but a counter team with offense. And I was like, that's kind of a sick looking little team. But anyway, he found a way where effectively you could, in theory, get about 5 to 6 million per player in P3. But I don't see that our current roster review has any of those teams ready. So it was an interesting chat, but we don't have any of those.
Well, it's checks
really
mixed. So it's Han Solo. You need to get into Gear 12, and he needs to have the bayonet on him. CLS is fine. Your Death Trooper is only Gear 10. You got to get him to 11.
Yep.
Chirrut is 11. That's fine.
Chirrut 11 is fine.
If you want to run POW, if you want to run Jedi Knight Anakin, just
Toggle.
Another attacker, just get him in there, but ideally
they're there for their offense up, right? I mean, that's pretty much what they're there for, is offense up.
All right, let's see here. So that's Phase 3 checks mix. That's a solid team. Now, the hands down the best Phase 4 team, it's proven. It's the Night Sisters. Yeah, it's not even close. It's the Night Sisters.
Yeah,
you're right. It's not even close.
Sisters are not ready though.
No, and this is a team I want you to start working on because you've got the stars other than Night Sisters Zombie, so keep the farm on Zombie. But Night Sisters is the team I want you to work on as much as possible. I know you're probably farming over Republic, some other things, but let's start getting. Really, you just have to work on Zombie. The stars are done, but let's start working on getting these guys level and gear. Night Sisters, and it's Asajj lead, right? It's not Talzin lead. It's just Asajj lead. It does so much freaking damage. Now, the way you do it is, you go in there, especially in the Nihilist phase. You can still, any phase they'll do really well, but especially in the beginning phase, the Nihilist phase, right? And you're plaguing the 2 ads, and that helps spread the plague because anytime the Night Sisters use a special, it has a chance to spread. And I've gotten, last raid, I had like 4 stacks of plague on Nihilus and like 6 on Scion. It starts stacking, so every time they win, there's like, aha, free damage, suck it, Nihilus. But it's really about getting Asajj going. And when every time you can use her AoE, you use it because it's just amping her up to where she's just hitting on her basic, just ungodly hits. And you use your other Night Sisters in support. And remember, it also reduces turn meter. So on their basics, when they're hitting Nihilus, they're reducing his turn meter. that's the other great thing about Night Sisters, and it allows you to have more chances to do more damage because Nihilus is going slower. And that's the whole concept of the team. When the ads pop up again, you saved your plague, bam, and then plague spreads again, and then you're just constantly beating the snot out of Nihilus. And the good thing about the Night Sister with Daka, Talzin, and Asajj is the stacks don't build up because all three of them can reduce the stacks that Trey is putting out there, right? And gets rid of the bones on the skulls over your head. So it really, they're not hitting you that hard. You can easily get 5 million damage plus with the Night Sisters, but you have to use it smart. You screw the ads. Just all you do is use your AoE, your plague, and you want Asajj killing them. So I just focus on Nihilus because she's going to be using her AoE, and the more she kills and the more AoE she does, her basics are just building up until you're smacking Nihilus like ungodly amounts of damage. And the other Night Sisters are helping with their basic, just keep his turn meter down. Even Asajj, same thing. It just constantly keeping him from going to where you may not even maybe see one annihilation attempt with that because of the way the Night Sisters work. So
yeah, you'll get to enrage first,
right?
With Scion, like way sooner, if done correctly.
So it's a disgusting team. But that's kind of how you want to do it. But Night Sisters is something if you want to be effective in Phase 4, and we're talking heroic Sith Braid, brother, you got to go all in on the Night Sisters. I'd really like you to see you get them all to Gear 11. Get the leader on Asajj, and get the unique on Mother Talzin. That helps with Plague Bearer. Now the other one on Asajj is really nice, but I went 2 and 1 when I first did the Night Sisters. I eventually went back and did Mother Talzin's lead, but that's more for territory wars. We're just focused on heroic Sith raid. So the first Zeta has got to be Asajj lead. Second Zeta's got to be unique on Mother Talzin. And you don't even need the unique for Mother Talzin. I just like it. I think it helps more with spreading the plague and stuff. For me, it just helps me get more damage in the heroic Sith raid. But it's Night Sisters. And then after that, you just don't want whatever team you have left over in the kitchen sink just to try to get damage. But no other team is as effective at this moment. I mean, maybe Jedi Revan. I haven't run a Jedi Revan team in Phase 4, but I mean,
Jedi Revan's a Phase 2 team.
Yeah,
which is what I figured. But I don't know if anybody's tried Revan in Phase 4 to see how that works because
I did it. I did it because I missed Phase 2, and I mean he'll do $1.5 million.
Okay,
that's the thing. It's like when you're going in Phase 4 and you're going against Trey and Scion, that isolate kind of throws a wrench in your whole team comms for.
Has anyone tried Revan in Phase 3?
Oh my god!
Because I think there is potential with the Revan mark.
Oh my god!
No. Actually, standalone on Greedo. So you have Chex Mix, right? And you use Death Mark in order to trigger Han. But you could use the same concept with Revan and Greedo for a second kind of pseudo Chex Mix team.
I saw
because you can mark Treya with the same way, right?
Yeah, but you won't get the damage bonus that Death Mark does.
You don't, but you can get more than just 2 hits from Greedo if he chains. Because every time Greedo goes, he has a chance of going multiple times. So if you get enough crit on Greedo, you could potentially get like multiple 5, 6, 7 hit chains. It's a little bit of an RNG attack, but you don't need to get rid of the lightsabers, and the lightsabers attacking Greedo means he's now attacking Treya.
That requires testing. I think that requires testing.
Yeah, give us an ETA on that.
4 months when I get Revan.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, yeah. In February when Revan comes back around, me and Finn will test it.
So we talked about just our teams.
Yeah. So those are the teams, and then wanted to look at ships real quick. I mean, in the meta, if there's anything that
I'm gonna jump his. So if somebody want to look at his roster, I'm gonna type in his ally code and see what he's running right now.
All right, let's look at his ships. Very nice. He's got very nice ship roster. Very nice ship roster. Biston, you need to finish Biston. Sunfac, Plo Koon, but there's 6 stars. Clonzari, so he's pretty much 7-star Kylo Ren, 7-star Millennium Falcon, 7-star TIE Reaper. He's got a lot of good ships there, Grande Pappy Patroni.
All right, I'm almost done typing this in. 8-1.
Numbers are hard for Grande.
All right, so he's 13th. I'm sorry, excuse me. He's 31st right now.
Sure. What's he running?
And so he is running an old meta. So he's running Biggs, Vader, and Imperial TIE Fighter.
No.
Under a Tarkin lead. Excuse me, under a Thrawn lead.
Okay, Thrawn lead's fine.
I do. I like the Thrawn lead. I feel like
TIE Advance Vader, in my opinion, is a much better reinforcement ship. I don't like Vader on the starting lineup because when he comes off the bench, once you get his his reinforcement abilities done, he is a monster. He debuffs, he does all kinds of crazy stuff, and he hits like a freaking truck. And if you get his basic done, where you can avoid, even if they have like foresight and shit, it doesn't matter. He's going to hit. So him coming off the bench is disgusting.
I feel like maybe we need to work on Sunfac a little bit.
I mentioned that he needs to finish Sunfac.
And Sunfac is Gear 1, Level 1.
As I said, we're not running Geos, so Geos is out.
And I feel like we probably need to work on Houndstooth, even though Houndstooth is 3-star. We probably need to work on, again, another reason to work on Boss gear a little bit.
Well, Boss, just in general, his ship's really good, and he's a great character with the Zeta, and it'll help you with the Chewie fight coming up.
We would be closer to working towards First Order, though, actually. Or potentially going for an all-Empire fleet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the problem is these key pieces that kind of are hard. I mean, you know, to go all-Empire, you really have to go in on Gauntlet Starfighter, and who the heck wants to do that? Who the heck wants to gear up?
He's got a Gauntlet 7-star.
I know he does, but I'm looking
the characters,
right.
The
The characters I'm not excited about.
Well,
right?
to take him to 80, yeah, he's not. We're in the position like we are.
We're not in the position to do that. I really feel like maybe we should just go First Order, or we should go for like a hodgepodge team that's a little bit.
Lay it out for him, my friend. What are you seeing here? First Order. So you want to? He's got 7-star command shuttle. He's got 7-star First Order TIE fighter pilot. I'm looking for this silencer. He's 7-star, so he's got the starting lineup with those three with Chimera, and then it's a great meta fleet. It works. I mean, there's lots of videos out there, guys.
He could win on he could win on offense. He could put Biggs on that team, and then bring in bring in advanced TIE from reinforcements.
Oh yeah,
that might work out. And potentially if he worked on Phantom 2, he could bring in Phantom 2 and then bring in
TIE
advanced TIE advanced from reinforcements, and then bring in Slave 1 from reinforcements.
And make your last ship Poe. Because Poe is nasty.
And then maybe finish up with Poe,
50, never mind.
Or finish up with Imperial TIE Fighter pilot.
Poe's ship is absolutely filthy. Every time I bring that damn ship in, it just starts crushing folks. It's so goddamn hard. Ugh.
I also feel like that there's a really easy way to take out other Houndstooth by bringing in Wedge Antilles with his double reinforcement that gives heal block, and then to bring in TIE Advance. So potentially, if he wanted to do it with just a couple of ships, he can have almost the same effect. While he's working on Poe Dameron, maybe. I feel like he's got some choices. He just has to pick a few, but he is probably going to have to move away from his current lineup, no matter what.
But what lineup are we looking for? Because that's what he's kind of asking for.
Honestly, I feel like we need to probably go First Order. That's what he's the closest on.
Yeah.
And I think First Order has a lot of upward mobility. Potentially, he's future-proofing himself if the First Order got a capital ship, which I am under the impression that it sure feels like that we could easily get a First Order and a Resistance capital ship. That's what conventional wisdom says. That's what would make the most sense to me. over a bounty hunter and over over a Sith capital ship. I mean, that's just me thinking outside of the box.
Mm-hmm.
But that would make more sense to me than say, oh, we're going to have a Sith capital ship now, or a Jedi capital ship. I mean, it's possible. I just would, in my mind, we've already got everything in place to do First Order, and we've got everything in place to do Resistance. Which again, is another reason why you'd want to finish up Poe, right? You'd want to finish up Poe because if we ended up with a Resistance capital ship, we've already got the pieces in place to do that, including the characters in place in game already to do a Resistance capital ship. So First Order, then that would make perfect sense to do a First Order capital ship. But at First Order, the TIE Silencer is a really great ship. So I'd highly recommend that. First Order. Let's do it. Let's
go for it. All right, Juice Moss. So let us know what you think. If you have any questions about anything we did in your roster review, you can reach out to us in Discord. If any of you guys would like a roster review, all you need to do is send your GG page to Dr. Finn Medicine Woman. Make sure he does respond, and we will do your roster review for you. That's what we do. We'll put you in the queue, and 3 to 4 weeks is usually around the time, and we'll do your roster review. We'll let you know ahead of time that we're doing it so you can watch that day specifically, and we will be more than get you scored away. So that's how you get a roster review for us. All right, so that's Juzma's roster review. Thank you for letting us look at your roster, and shout out to your Dark Lord Guild as usual. All righty, let's get to some questions, maybe a little bit, yes. Let's do some questions. Dr. Finn Medicine Woman? He who is Dr. Finn Medicine Woman?
Sorry, I have to step away for a minute. I have a phone call that just came in, but I put some questions in the chat for you guys to read. I'm grabbing them from Nightbot for you guys, but it's in Skype.
That's good. Let's do some questions. Oh, I just got a phone call, man. I can't do questions.
Well, let's just kind of hang out and talk about our feelings and stuff. I mean,
feelings.
We're on the Revendell.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. God damn. So I'm doing the events like I always do. We'll do some GW. I always show that in the background. Show different teams. I gotta say, man, the clone troopers look pretty spectacular with their new helmets.
That just reminded me. I noticed something interesting this morning. When I went through and looked at the weekly shipment store, all the clone troopers are in there at 1,200 crystals for shards.
That's a lot, man. They're all farmable.
But it's like for 25 shards or something like that.
I'm sorry. You do not buy packs for clone troopers.
I'm not saying buy those. But I just think it's interesting that all the clones in there, plus Anakin and Range Trooper. Maybe that's
Range Troopers because he's a hard farm, I think. Range Trooper
definitely got that farm. Range Trooper.
I bought Range Trooper, Anakin, and the ship Omegas.
So, real quick before we do the questions, what do you guys think about ETA-2?
That's a good ship. I think it's a great ship in the Galactic Republic fleet.
Oh yeah, it's already in my top 10 at like 4 stars. I think it's amazing.
It's a good little ship. It's got to be protected. It's too squishy, but it hits hard. It does a lot of nice stuff. It's a good ship. I like that ship. Unlike Finn, who I don't like.
The only thing I don't like is that the nice little special that he does where he gives somebody Valor only works when he's with Mace.
Yeah.
But that's what I think that's intentional because I think that is specifically designed that way. And because I was with Miss last night doing looking at that stuff and playing around with it, and he as a reinforcement, not in the starting lineup, as a reinforcement.
Oh wow.
He is a nasty little ship to come off the bench.
There's this guy in my top 10 that's using Executrix Capital, and then he's going with ETA2, Houndstooth, and Sunfac in the starting lineup. And man, it's hard to get around Sunfac and Houndstooth, obviously, just to get to it. And by that point, it's already like doing its damage and getting going. And it's pretty interesting, to be honest. But I mean, I think it still has some value even at a lower star level, and it's still interesting even outside the Mace Capital lineup. But it kind of gave the Galactic Republic fleets a better chance on offense, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't see the like. I'd rather use TIE Advanced instead of him in other fleets, because at least I mean, it's cool that
two Empire capital ships. That's why.
Yeah, but I mean, it's cool that Anakin's basic can't be evaded, but the target lock can be resisted, whereas TIE Advance can't be resisted.
That's one of the big caveats too for ships is resisting and and a guaranteed debuff, right?
And I just had an opponent's freaking TIE fighter dodge 4 times in a freaking row.
Yeah.
I
think it's funny too how
I dodge that many times.
ETA2's 1 speed faster than Vader's ship, right? So like it's because Vader's slower and
That's funny.
It's 1 speed slower.
1 speed slower. Well, when you get your arms and legs cut off, you might be 1 speed slower.
Yeah, just 1 speed slower.
Just be.
Will endurance get?
But you're gonna hit harder. And you're gonna not be resisted.
Mike's here. Mike.
Hey, everybody! Look, it's Mike.
Hey.
Happy birthday, Mike.
Thank you very much, God.
Oh, happy birthday, Mike.
Oh, mate.
How was the birthday party?
The birthday party was good. And I'm a happy bunny.
Did you get anything good? Tell us all the goodies you got.
I only got 1 goodie, but it was from there's more to come at the weekend. We're having a big family do then. But
so it's the gift that keeps on giving. Nice. I like that.
Yeah. And I got
Mrs. Hunt
AirPods.
must be really, stepping it up a little bit.
Those AirPods are nice.
Awesome, so hopefully
dude.
I'm not scratchy anymore.
You sound great.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for Swear Dancing to come on and start cussing.
Yeah, no, she won't do. She is cussing, but she's cussing at work because I was late to the stream today because our broadband's gone down. It's like what?
Okay.
So I've been trying to rectify that, but I haven't. I'm late, obviously, to this discussion. But I'm wondering, will Mace in Territory Wars, because he's getting these absolutely massive boosts to his stats, will that feed through to endurance? Does that mean that endurance is going to be omnipotent? Because they're linked, aren't they?
Well, but they're linked based on
his
different
abilities,
stuff, right?
his gear and abilities.
I see the connection, but I don't think they'll do anything with the ship itself, like endurance.
What you think that they're not intertwined? Because I thought it was automatic. As you apply something to a tune, you see the difference it makes. Like, for example, I geared up Houndstooth earlier, and I gave Bosk a Gear 12 Plus piece and saw an improvement.
Yeah.
So if they're doing, so it'll be interesting to see in these Territory Wars if suddenly the endurance becomes something akin to a decent capital ship.
Well, I mean, I've used Houndstooth ever since it walked in the door, and I staggered everything onto to Bosk, like Gear 12 Plus, the Zetas one at a time, and I noticed the difference every bit, but I don't see. I mean, like if they put those stats to Territory Wars, and the fact that Mace's capital ship is already so good on defense, like that'll break the defensive aspect of it, right?
Yeah, I'm just about to. I haven't joined our Territory Wars because I can't believe this. I've just taken my cup to Gear 10. I've just given him Omegas.
I gave him Omegas. Straight up, I'm with you. I gave
as
him
well
Omegas
as
too.
Dude, Cup's gonna kill so many nests this go around.
and I've got both my Grievous and my Mace are just stacked full of offense.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
This is going to be a very interesting war.
I'm going to tell you, I love the fact that they made these changes. I really do. I'm glad we got something to change it up. And it's day one
and
characters.
their bank account likes it too.
Well, it's day one characters, right? I mean, look, yeah, but it doesn't cost you any money to move the mods around. You could just move the mods around, right? That's it. You can just, mod them for, you're not going to use them anywhere else. Just move some mods around. Nobody has to get them at gear 12. But if you already had them at 85, and you already had them like that, and
I swear by the Holy Christ, if any of you turds do anything with Cup, I will beat you.
I just took a bunch of health mods with flat offense, and my Cup and my Mace my Mace is gear 8, but my Cup's gear 7, and
Grievous
I put a bunch of,
and
health
Mace,
and flat mods on them.
fine, but if
Dooku, you can do. Come on,
Dooku, yeah, but Cup, get the hell out of here.
Dear RSG, please give us mighty chlorians.
Master Qui-Gon, what are mighty chlorians?
Oh man!
All right.
Well, another thing too about the bonuses and using all these other characters, right? Like Territory Wars for most of us here is like clean wins and all that kind of stuff. Imagine just one of those pieces dying on your team is a big difference, right? So
I would have just beat all you guys. Just put up Megas on Cup. Shame on you.
I had 150. Why wouldn't I? It was
all right, guys. Grande's it well and has everything. Do not listen to goddamn Grande. Do not put crap on your Cup. Save it for other characters that matter. Jesus.
Put your Cup on the bottom.
I'm going to tell you, at some point, Omegas are not the pinch point anymore, which is why we tell you not to buy Omegas with ship's currency, with fleet currency, is because we can tell you already that you are gaining more Omegas than they are adding into the game. Omegas are not the problem. It may take you 4 years for them to not be the problem, but they are not the problem. The problem is Zetas and gear, no matter what. And I still think Zetas are not even the problem at some point. At some point, the continual pinch point is gear. At least for me. Mike, are you seeing the same thing? Omegas are not the pinch point anymore.
You know what? I've just struggled with the hair dryers, not the Mark 6 hair dryers. I'm slowly.
Ones.
Yeah, I'm gearing up Aura C, and she needs a load of Mark 5 hair dryers, and I'm like, what the hell? And the drop rate on them was ridiculously low.
She's got no hair though.
Well, look at this. It's Carbontes, right? You're talking about the hypo syringes. It's Carbontes too. We've talked about this before. Carbontes is challenge gear. It shouldn't be a big deal. Look, I've gotten stuck behind the golden eyeball before.
Oh, mate.
The same one that you get. The same one that you get with Carbontes. I've struggled with that before. And you're like, are you kidding me? How in the world am I struggling with challenge gear that some people have thousands of? Because everybody and their freaking brother needs 6 of them.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I put my Omegas on around my Zetas. Like, I just pick one character that I want to fully invest the Omegas on, and then when I'm getting closer to like 5, 6 Zetas away, I'm making sure I'm pouring back up again.
Well, sure, yeah. But what I'm saying though is that at some point, if you continue to get 1 or 2 Zetas a day, right, and you play this, you play this game for 4 years, Omegas are not the problem anymore.
Yeah, I agree.
How far did you guys get on the questions?
We haven't started. We've been fighting over Grande's stupid comment about gearing Cup.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry, we'll start doing questions.
You don't have to gear him up like too much.
He's talking about putting Omegas on him, Finn.
I wouldn't put the Omega, but I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea.
Finn's response like, I
had 150. What was I supposed to do?
I have a bunch of Omegas too, but it's not that like I have an excess amount, right? It's just I'm being really cautious about who I'm putting my omegas on. So I'm keeping omegas for characters that I really need them on. But if I started omegaing everyone, I would be out of them in an
If I
instant.
showed you what I have left to Omega, you'd be like, "Oh, that's okay."
Yeah,
I
but
see
that's
why you
because
did that.
you do other stuff in order to get omegas, Grande.
Because he's a pool boy.
Pool
I'm
boy.
not
it's- It's
And someday
we've discussed this before, and I've
he'll
told
be
Grande this straight up
pool
too,
man.
right? If you're, and I mentioned this to like the VIPs earlier when I was doing my like remodding of my roster and stuff. If you're free to play, you play different than pay to play. And if you try to play the same way as a pay to play as a free to play, you're going to lose. And so you have to always make sure you understand the context. And so I don't expect pay to play to always agree with me because my strategy is designed more towards free to play. Like that's what I do. Grande's is definitely designed more towards pay to play. And so his will work better for his. So
You
in
remember
context,
how at one point having purples was a struggle for you, and now
Yeah.
you probably have like 2,000 purples?
yeah,
What I'm
and that's
saying
the
is,
with
given,
like
what I'm
longevity
saying
play.
is, given enough time,
Well-
you will have the same thing with Omegas.
Okay, so I'm gonna disagree
Yeah.
with you a little on Omegas, and here's the
No,
reason.
I
Here's the reason
promise
why I
you.
would disagree with you, Grande. You've discussed this before, so you can kind of tell me if I'm wrong here. You accumulate Omegas at a faster rate than most people because when that Omega event comes out, you typically do the 200 crystal refresh and the 600, right?
The 200 and the 400. I stopped doing the 400
Ooh.
after I was like, why am I doing the 400?
Right. And so-
I'm getting an Omega, but I'm getting a second Omega, but who am I going to even put it on?
Right. And I mean, it's worthwhile. Don't get me wrong. It's a worthwhile thing if you have the crystals to spare, but not everyone has the crystals to spare. And so your income of Omegas is definitely higher than mine. And I can't foresee, because I look at my roster and I can't foresee a time. Purple mats, I could figure it out because purple mats, I've looked at it. I'm like, yeah, eventually they're going to bring out some kind of new currency. Purple mats are going to be increased in their drop rate. It's going to be more focused on Omega. And maybe there's a day that they're going to add abilities beyond Zetas.
I've got like 4,000 purple mats.
Right. I think I have something around 1,000 or something like that. So I'm not nearly how much you have, but a lot of that one is because I'm restricting what I'm gearing up now. Because now Fluff GP doesn't really help anymore. Used to be a little bit different before, but now it's not a good idea to get the Fluff GP. And the other part is as a result of the release of more Omega and Zeta abilities, they've increased the drop rate on the previous mats. And so I think Omegas will increase only if they start to introduce a new ability, like Mat beyond Zeta, but I don't see that coming anytime soon. So I
don't either.
I think Omega struggle for free to play will continue, but it's only a struggle if you start Omegaing things you don't need. Like I found as long as I'm not just Omegaing random things, if I'm focusing on one faction at a time, I always have the Omegas I need.
Right.
But if I start on multiple factions, then I'm screwed. Like there's just.
But what I'm telling you is that you're able to go faction to faction, and at some point you are gaining Omegas faster than Omegas. People to put Omegas on are entering the game.
If you're focused on a particular faction, yes. So like if I'm only like I just finished my Scoundrel, so I finished my Kira team, right? So I was focusing just on the Kira team, and I'm still focusing on it. I'm trying to replace Emphys with Mission. So right now I'm working on Mission, and so I have enough mats to get my Kira team done, including Mission. So that's like 6 characters if you include like Emphys, and then you have Vandor and Zalbar and all that stuff, right? So, but in that meantime, I've accumulated a lot because I needed only so many for those characters, and you accumulate more than that time. If I jump to my next faction working on it, I'm out of Omegas instantly. So it just depends on how you're collecting your mats. As for the whole cup thing,
viewers, just so you know, in 12 months, Finity will come back and say I'm right. So I'm not even going to argue with him.
Jesus Christ.
We had the same discussion about hard nodes at one point.
We did. I'm not denying it, but my opinion on how to farm changes with how they change the game.
I'm not here, but I'm just telling you.
They added so much more freaking in hard nodes.
Finn, I know your opinion's wrong now, but you'll see mine that it's right later on. Dickhole.
That's essentially his argument. I'm never going to same opinion like all the way through.
Finn, I know you're a doctor now, but later on you'll be a pull boy just like
do
me.
you remember when I was like just farm hard notes? And this is coming from the whaley guy, right? And I'm saying just farm hard notes, only farm hard notes. And Finney's like, no, I need the gear. And
no, at that time I disagreed with you, and I still disagreed with you at the time that we had brought that up. I do not agree with you. When I first started, that farming only hard nodes was the way to go. I would farm a total of about 8 hard nodes, and then the rest was on gear, because otherwise I would fall behind in arena. And I kept up in arena and was able to build my roster that way. But things have changed since.
Yeah. And this is why I'm able to put Omegas on my cup, is because
God.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the amount that he's.
Don't put Omegas on cup unless you're Grande Verge Patron. I'm telling you, that is a bad call.
I do think, though, I'll put this out there, depending on the level.
I agree with Ranger. It is a bad call unless you're really whaley.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Forget about the Omegas, right? Because Omega is kind of a little bit of an extreme here. Depending on your level of guild, I actually do not think it's a bad idea to gear up your cup. And the reason why is if you're in a little bit of a lower level guild, that Kira team can throw people. If you face a Kira, Enfys, Zalbar, Vandor, Chewy, and like L3 team, there are, like, depending on where you are, some people struggle against that team. Like, I've seen in some of like the lowers, and I think it was like a 130 guild or something that faced it. Like, there was like some 15, 20 attempts on that thing. And it's because if you don't have the right teams in order to fight it, if you don't understand it, if somebody feeds turn meter, and in the lower GP sometimes it's not as serious about like feeding GN like turn meter and stuff to the teams. Having a cup who is like just super anti-scoundrel, like his whole thing is just being anti-scoundrel, it can help you against that team. So there's a little bit of time left before Territory War starts, and it's not to say just to use up all your resources and all that, but if you are able to, I don't think cup is a bad investment for this month to help with those teams if your guild like struggles with it.
Well, personally, I would warn people about spending resources on these characters for Territory Wars, because once Territory Wars is over, they're going back to being worthless. And more than likely, here comes a new character that's
not worthless.
Dooku is fine. Grievous is probably getting a rework, and hopefully Mace is going to get.
Grievous is the one that I'm kind of keeping my eye on, because I think if Grievous is going to get a rework, then but I'm saving the gear. He's gear 9. I'm just kind of like waiting. Like, what are we doing with Grievous?
Look at it this way. Remember? Hey, here's Chewie. Spend all your gear on him. Oh, guess what? Here's Revan. I'm all out of resources because I spent them all on Chewie.
Grande part of the Coruscant Underworld Police now.
Am I part of the Coruscant Underworld Police?
Is that it, Grande?
It's such a big deal. He actually runs the police. He's the police commissioner.
Is that what's
He's
going
the
on?
Coruscant Underworld commissioner.
General.
He's the cuck. He's the Coruscant Underworld commissioner.
Is that what?
I'm the Coruscant Underworld commissioner.
Yep.
I'm the Coruscant Underworld patron.
All right, we should get to questions, because I put the questions in Skype, but apparently you guys
we haven't got them
yet. I'm not reading anything, but I will answer any question asked of me.
Hold on. Okay, so first question from Travis Anderson. Question, guys, with the new Territory War Advantage characters, what are the best teams to use with for offense and defense? Like Revan, Mace, Jolie, Bastila, Grandmaster Yoda on offense or defense?
Defense.
Revan is defense until proven otherwise right now.
And potentially so is Dooku if you're putting some kind of assist team on defense.
Yep. Dooku is the 5th on a Traya team. That's the way you want to go.
Now, Grievous and Cup are probably offense.
Yes. Agreed.
Next question.
See,
we can agree on something.
Hooray!
We can
agree
the world
on,
is going to
come to an end.
Trucks are red, too. We agree on that one.
No. Question, Ski Trooper. Question, Night Sister Noob finally has the team to gear 12. What are some key tips for Night Sisters in the Sith Raid in terms of strategy or mods? Fast tanky zombie, high damage, rest of the characters, high health Daka. You don't really need speed because of Asajj's lead. And high damage Talia because she heals with her basic based on how much damage she does.
Save like Daka's healing / res for when somebody actually dies.
Actually, you don't have to at the beginning because zombie gives you 2 free reses.
Yay! Ha
You don't even have to bother with it. You just let it go. It's awesome.
Plus the healing under Asajj lead kind of like feeds them more turn meter again. So.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, so that's kind of the, and I think Ranger went over the strategy with Night Sisters earlier during the roster review too. So that gives you an idea about what to do with Night Sisters. Hellenix, question for Dark Lord of the First Order, Ranger J 1999. I'm focusing on gearing crew, OG Kylo, First Order Stormtrooper, Holy Mark III Carbantes Batman. Am I in for a super tough?
Yes, you are, but it's worth it. So worth it. First Order defenses, they're nasty. It is a lot of Carbantes, but then again, they seem to do that a lot with characters in this game, so it's nothing new. I mean, bounty hunters are like that. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of Carbantes in this game you need. It's the one.
Just wait for the next version of Not a Jedi Luke.
So I always keep 250 Carbantes on me, and I'm constantly farming them. And when I get to about 350, I'll use a couple of them. I just keep that in the bank because it's just so needed everywhere. It's ridiculous. But yes, First Order is amazing. I love them.
I'll tell you what is naughty, taking Coruscant Underworld Police from Gear 10 to a Gear 11.
Shut up. God damn it,
Next
Mike.
question.
Shut your filthy British mouth.
He's not wrong. Okay, next question from Jedi Training Bogus. Question: should we expect to get a rework on a character this month? Example: Grievous, Anakin, Mace, CT? I'm not sure who's CT. Oh, Clone Troopers. And I have a Zeta set ready to go. Grievous, yes. Anakin, probably not. I think his kit is still fine. He's quite usable. Mace, hopefully, although he's been semi-reworked before. Clone Troopers, I'm going to guess no, because they can really throw off everything with Rex if they mess that up. And so I'm going to say no to Clone Troopers. What do you guys think?
I
see
Clone
Grievous.
Troopers got their rework. They got new hats.
They got helmets. They got a facelift.
I get a feeling something's coming that has to do with clones, though.
I don't get that sense.
I think it's
Grievous
gonna be
and
a
Mace,
map.
maybe, but not. Yeah, I don't get a sense that they're going to actually rework those guys. Could be wrong, but I don't get that.
I
They
think
could
they're
put in
going to
Delta
add some.
Yeah, Delta Force. We're going to add Delta Force.
I got to tell you, if they add Delta Force,
My God.
I'm going to Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to have to literally hold myself from not wailing on.
Well, if they put Chuck Norris in this game, I think we're all going to have to feel that way, Grande.
Well, also,
if we get Heavy and all the others, dude.
I mean,
it's like open.
Chuck Norris is so awesome that when he comes into SWGOH, he's just going to take the money from CG.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so real quick too, like when the Ewoks got these like new skin reworks, they put out, you know, the 3 other new Ewoks, Lawbray, Wicked, and Paplu, right? So, you know, maybe we get new clones, or maybe we even get a new event, like monthly event for Zetas.
It's possible, but I think the focus is going to be on Galactic Republic and Separatists more than it's going to be.
If we get clones, I have a hard time sitting down just thinking about it. We have people in our guild. We have the creator of the Princess Zodi Phase 4 team sitting in our guild right now. So over the moon about if clones get a rework.
Well, think about it this way too. Like, you know, to get that event for like a monthly, you know, Zeta, like the Ewoks and the Night Sisters, that would be a great reason to farm them. So it's not like a rework, but it's like, hey, this is, you know, obviously like a lower grade faction, but here's the caveat of finishing that faction.
I blame Finn.
Well, I want to see Chuck Norris in the game.
Who doesn't? I mean, my God, it's Chuck Norris.
He is the Force.
Yeah, he is. He's already in the game. Yeah, he is kind of in the game already.
Next question, Elliot Worsfold. It says around the corn, but this is really for Grande. Grande, what's your favorite Ted Danza movie?
My favorite.
It's a time for love. It's a time for friends. Grande stupid with the names.
Who's the bartender? Is his favorite movie?
Who's the bartender? I cannot believe. Is it really not Ted Danza? I thought
it's Ted Danson and Tony Danza. They're 2 different people.
It's what again?
Ted
my
Danson.
God.
Ted Danson and Tony Danza.
My sweet baby
Oh, okay.
Jesus.
Oh, okay.
There's no.
Okay.
Well, I don't know if there is a Ted Danza, but there's no famous Ted Danza.
Well, if the big
Just
deal
unbelievable.
thinks it's a real person, it's a real person.
It's
Yeah,
So-
just like Delta Force is going to come to Star Wars. Okay,
Right.
next question
Yeah,
is
I mean-
from Flex Gaming. Question.
Well, wait. I was pretty sure Ted Danza and
Ted
Val
Danza was
Bacon.
the fourth
No,
Ted
member.
Danza and
no.
Val Bacon are good friends, right?
Yeah, Ted Danza was the fourth
My
member of the
God.
Delta Force. Yes. That is
Val,
correct.
There's that whole thing like 3 degrees of separation from Val Bacon.
From
There we
who?
go. From Val Bacon. You know, the guy who
Who
played
the hell is that?
God, next question.
Who the hell is that?
Did I miss something?
What,
Val Bacon. Val Bacon played Batman, didn't he?
Yeah.
Val Kilmer played Batman, and it's 7 degrees from Kevin Bacon, you mongoloid.
Hey, all
Can
I know
we get
is
him
that
a
the
book
Delta
on,
Force
like-
is gonna come into the game, and it's going to have Chuck Norris, Val Bacon, and Ted Danza, and some mystery fourth that's probably going to end up being Cup.
What is,
You
Okay.
guys are gonna make Ranger blow up.
what is happening?
Next question is Reflex Game.
Can we have an animation one as well with Mickey Duck?
Do you think a variation of Mace's temp rework could become permanent?
No idea.
No.
Not as currently constituted. Like, they've gone over the top kind of intentionally just to let people have fun and stuff in Territory Wars, which I'm fine with. But I don't think variation is an interesting term. It would be severely knocked down from what it is right now if they continue with something like that. They're also not going to include that Jango Fett thing. That's just obviously for fun. So you're not going to have a Jango Fett thing.
Finn, so follow-up question to that. Are the Bounty Hunter faction bonuses for Territory Wars gone now, or?
So our first order. Yep. They've
everything's
placed
reset
it this
again.
month with those temporary ones.
Okay, cool. So this could be something we could look forward to maybe every month now.
So I would caution on that. I think it's fun right now because of the Clone Trooper things, but I think if they do something like this constantly, it might kind of drain on the vanity of it. It's really cool, right? Like, this is kind of a fun one-time. I'm thinking of it.
Yeah,
as
like a perk kit. Yeah.
Yeah. At some point, if you do this too often, it's just going to grate on people, because like having Cup for this month is one thing, right? We're having fun with it. But if every month, like, there's one of those characters, like all of a sudden now you have to work on Night Sister Initiate, or next other month you have to work on like Mob Enforcers or something like that, right? I think it could then work negatively. I think the element of surprise worked well for them with this one, as well as kind of the one-time promotion that they can do with this, with the Clone Wars and everything. Like, it's all topical.
Right.
Doing
Well-
it every time could become a negative for them. So
Yeah, because then we'll have Mike and Grande on here gearing up Mob Enforcer and all these lower grade characters.
yeah.
I can't. She's already maxed.
I can't do it.
All right. Next question. Nathaniel Morgan, were Swery and Dancing Daughters on their best behaviors for Mike's birthday?
Not quite. I've got a video. I've got a video uploaded later on. I only got Swery on there, and yeah, she was true to form without realizing it. So, so no. but big up. I'm chuffed to bits with my Prezi.
All right. Next question. Ski Trooper. Question: is Grievous worth Omegas for the Territory War bonuses?
Yes, do it. Do it.
No.
I'm
Or-
going to tell you, Dooku and Mace, yes. Grievous is a cautious yes. And Cup is no. But if
No,
you
wait,
have them
wait,
to spare, then
wait.
okay.
Wait. Isn't the answer just flat no? You don't need the Omegas for the Territory War bonuses. Am I missing something? The question is asking, is Grievous worth Omegas for the Territory War bonuses? The bonuses
Maybe
happen
for
with just the
rework.
characters, right? There's no tie-in with the Omegas.
Maybe for his rework potentially, but
No,
again,
if you
this
the
month-
Omegas should make him hit harder.
Right, but you don't need it for the actual bonus. And what, you're going to add another 5% on top of the 1,000% damage that he's going to add? Like, that's really worth an Omega for the Territory War bonus, Grande?
No, his basic adds 15% damage.
You're
so
throwing
that's
a
gonna be
pebble into a lake
1.5
and expecting it to
No,
flood.
it's 15 of 1,000 though. It's 15% of 1,000.
All these stats go off your base stats. It's going to be 15% off your base offense, not 15% after your 1,000
Let's
is added.
ask Val Bacon to do the math on this one.
Let's just put it this way, though. Once these territory wars are over, you're more than likely going to be like, oh, why did I put those Omegas on that character?
Yeah, Grievous may be worth Omegas, but only after he gets a rework potentially this month. I wouldn't do any Omegas for Territory War bonuses because you get them without it, and they're all pretty strong anyways. But if you want to gear some of the characters up, Dooku is actually a pretty decent character as the 5th on a Treya team, so he actually gets even more benefit this time. Mace, we're all just kind of hoping, but any gear that you put to him will affect your endurance anyways. So you may as well gear up so you have a stronger endurance. It looks like it's shifting toward more of a timeout team, Territory War defense meta potentially. So Mace is worth it. Cup is probably not, and Grievous we're just waiting to see if there's a rework. So I wouldn't go these things. Here's
a question: could we get away with calling him Tits McDooku? Because, I mean, Tits was a roller derby, and, Dooku's on roller skates.
Next question is from Hellenix. Question: I somehow understand when LCG Grande de Largo Delio says he adds gear and ability mats to Cup. But Mike, come on, Mike, has CG bought you too?
Oh, snap. He said you're a shill for CG, Mike.
Them's fighting words.
CG,
Mike, have you changed alliances?
Can you just say that, though? Just say it out loud for us. CG Mike Hunt.
Mike Hunt isn't CG.
Mike
I can guarantee you Mike Hunt is not CG.
And Grande's not CG either, but that's still okay.
But it doesn't sound as funny as saying Mike Hunt.
I haven't even activated the estimated time of arrival because, let's face it, whatever the ETA is, we can add at least 8 months onto that.
Yeah.
All right, next question. What else? 73. How do I get a job being CG carry pool boy like Grande?
So, any tips that you can offer there, Grande? I mean...
Is it take lots of blue pills before you start?
Oh my God, Grande! Grande. Okay, I'm putting you on the spot here, Grande. So feel free to say no, but I'm going to put you on the spot here. We're working on the Tiltify thing for the American Cancer Society, right? And we're trying to figure out challenges and stuff. If we put up a challenge, would you wear a shirt that says "I am CG Carey's pool boy" when we're in the parks on Saturday?
Oh.
Absolutely, I would wear a shirt that said I'm CG Carey's pool boy.
Okay, there we go. You guys are getting notification of one of the challenges that will be up on our Tiltify page as we're raising money for the American Cancer Society. When we go to the parks on Saturday, Grande will wear a shirt saying, "I am CG Carey's pool boy."
I mean, there you go. The time for love and the time for friends.
I wish I was over there with you because I'm just thinking my T-shirt would read quite funny.
Oh man.
Okay, so there you go. We make use of your trolling. Okay, next question from Iserflex Gaming. Question: somebody Photoshop Grande chilling in a pool of Omegas.
Like Scrooge McDougal.
I know. What the?
Scrooge McDougal! Oh my God.
And Mickey Duck.
It's just McDuck. What?
I know it is.
No, you don't, Grande. That's a sad thing.
We have the 4th member of the Delta Force now.
Scrooge
the Delta
McDougal.
Force coming to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is Chuck Norris, Val Bacon, Ted Danza, and Scrooge McDougal.
Scrooge McDougal.
And they're all clones.
We all have helmets that just say "I'm a big deal" on the side.
Jesus Christ.
Is that along the lines of
Scrooge-
Wendy McDonald?
Right. God. Oh
Why?
my God. Hey kids, get in the car. We're going to Burger Guys.
All right.
Get us
Next
some
question from
Chick-fil steak.
No, Grande doesn't go to Burger Guys or Wendy McDonald's. He goes to Sonic. How is Vanessa, Grande?
Yeah, that was Vanessa. I haven't heard from her in a while.
We haven't heard from Vanessa in a while.
I'm gonna have to go back and check on Vanessa.
Mhm.
She's such a bubbly personality. I love that girl.
You should tell her we said hi.
That's right.
I will.
Tell her you've made some friends, Val Bacon.
Danza, say hi.
Scrooge McDougal. And his lucky quarter.
God.
God. I can't do it anymore. I can't do it anymore.
This is from Talonly. Cubs posted new artwork for the app. It says Asajj and Ahsoka. Chance of new Asajj? If so, they could put in Quinlan Voss. I saw that in our Discord too.
Oh, that's interesting.
So hold on. I have some inside baseball on this.
What?
So go back and refresh again, and you'll see some other artwork too. If you go back in there and refresh, and this is only on the Google Play Store, I think, right now.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go back in there and look, you will also see Han Solo and Greedo as another option. And if you continue to go back in there and look, you will also see Darth Maul and General Kenobi. So there are like at least 3 and maybe 4 versions of like the artwork if you keep going in there and switching. So I think it's just a
like
cool
if you
new
keep
thing.
searching the Google Play Store you're talking about, Grande?
Yes, you will see at least 3 different versions of that are up right now. So I don't think that they're I think they just did it as like cool characters that are like rivals basically.
Well, Asajj and Quinlan Voss were not rivals. They were lovers, Grande.
No, but it's Snips and it's Snips and Ventress.
Oh, okay, because I thought it was Quinlan Voss and
No, and then it's
No, the
Greedo.
question was asking because Asajj and Ahsoka were one of the images. If you think
I
they
would
could
love to
introduce
see
new
Quinlan
characters
Voss
like
in the
Quinlan
game. And I'd love to see another version of Asajj, honestly, in her later years with the hair with her when her and Quinlan were doing their stuff. And was it the Last Disciple? What was the book that they were in? Dark Disciple? I can't remember.
I wonder if Val Bacon and Ted
Stop!
are rivals.
You imagine Ronnie in Hollywood when pitching movie ideas. All right, guys, I'm thinking of a scene. All right, who are you thinking for this scene or for this movie? Well, I'm thinking of the concept starring Val Bacon. Who's this Val Bacon? I've never heard of him.
That's Grande's hit new movie, Delta Force 3 Degrees of Separation from Val Bacon.
Oh my God!
We've got to find this Val Bacon. Who is it?
Starring Ted Danza.
And then he tells one that they didn't know Chuck Norris. Chuck Norris is in this. Yeah, Chuck Norris.
He
Can
cast
you
the wrong
imagine
Chuck
how
Norris. He just cast Brinkley.
he casts Ed Norris.
No,
Can-
I'm gonna
can
say
you
he cast
imagine
Misty
how
Brinkley
OP
because he cast the wrong guy for the commercial.
Luke Solo and Han Skywalker are going to be next year?
Grande, I love you. How's it going?
Oh my God. And I'm thinking, and we need one more, and I can't think. You know that guy from Disney? You mean one of the children actors? No, Scrooge McDougal. That character. If we could somehow get him into this.
Oh my God. Alright. I'm just losing it today.
God.
Julian Moore's my favorite Ted Danson movie is Becker's in the Outfield.
Like I can see Grande getting ready to pitch something to the CEO of Disney and be like, "Oh, yeah,
Becker's in the outfield."
yeah." Hold up the hand. It's still right. No, it's Michael.
Grande, what have you done to us?
Oh, we love you, Grande.
Oh my God. It doesn't always happen, but when it does, it is fucking beautiful.
Bye, Mark. Note to self: never invite Grande to trivia night.
You imagine him on Celebrity Jeopardy? Welcome back to Celebrity Jeopardy. I am Alex Trebek, and let's take a look at the scores. Grande Patron is in last place with negative $750,000, never getting one name correctly inserted in any of his answers. He's like, "Hey, special shout out to Arturo Drock Knight and."
Okay, we'll try to finish the question.
I was laughing so hard I almost passed out, like drool fell out of my mouth and shit. Jesus Christ. God damn, Grande, you bastard. Jesus.
All right.
I can't deal with him, man. God.
Last question from Helenix. This is a question for Finn. I am broke and can't afford ramen noodles, and I will personally fund the Grande Patron pool boy teacher. Tell me what I need to do.
If we could somehow get him with CG Carey with that, that would be the greatest gift to life ever.
Oh my God. I should message Carrie and see if she wants to be a part of it. This is awful.
Oh my God. I could just see Grande play Jeopardy. This was the first president of the United States. Grande Patron. Who is George Jefferson? I'd like to take... He
was moving on up to the west side. I'm losing. Oh my God. Okay, we have to end this stream. Did you see chat?
I can't look.
Said Abraham Bush. Oh my God. Okay, we have to end the stream. We're losing it. We totally lost it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Jesus Christ, it hurts. I can't stop. Oh God.
Thank you all for watching. This is the RSG Lunch Hour. God damn, it's a Monday. It's a Friday. We've lost our crap. Hopefully it'll be back to normal on Monday.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh God. Oh my God.
We tried.
Oh God.
We try to do this with reasonable decorum Monday through Friday at noon Eastern time for about an hour.
Oh God. Oh Jesus.
Oh my. We hope you guys had fun. Hop on the RSG Discord if you guys haven't. The link is in the YouTube description. Oh my God, I'm crying.
I'm sweating. I'm laughing so hard. I'm sweating. I got sweat just poured out of me because I laughed so hard. Fuck. Oh my God. I adore Grande. He is the best thing ever. Best man ever in the universe. Swear to God.
And so we were talking about it. So we're working on the Tiltify page for our ACS campaign. So we'll have some challenges and stuff up there, and we'll be putting up. God.
Oh my God.
We'll be putting up some stuff for rewards and all that kind of stuff. We're working on that right now, and I'm developing the page. We're also working on a web page. Something for you guys, though, if you do want to share your stories about cancer, please message me. And because we're working on a page where we're sharing our stories. Obviously, the main one is going to be Stu's story, as we're running the Stu Strong campaign for the ACS. And so we'll be raising money for that. So keep an eye out for the Tiltify link. My target goal is next Wednesday for the live stream, but hopefully it'll come out earlier than that. There's just a lot of work that has to go into it. So I think that's it. Finally able to catch my breath here.
You know, we have to add this to the opening and stuff now. My God. I mean, I thought the chicken stuff was...
I'm telling you, I'm full of these things. You guys
you're
wouldn't
full
even
of
believe.
Something, man. And Rodney just sitting there, pleased as fucking pie, just sitting there, just smiling.
Yes, I am. It's
fucking dickhole.
God. My favorite thing on the planet is to hear other people laugh. I'm not even kidding you. It's my favorite thing on the planet.
Christ.
We were about to die from the laughter.
I heard it the whole time. I had to go do something else, but I'm listening to it in my ear, and I'm like, yeah. I did it again. I struck again with freaking Scrooge McDougal. I mean, how does that even happen?
I don't know. Rodney, your brain is on another level, dude. I don't know.
All right, so we will put up a challenge where if we hit the challenge on Tiltify, Grande will wear the I am CG Carries Pool Boy shirt.
I will, absolutely. CG Pool Boy. That's my name now. CG
Pool Boy. Oh God, we can make it like one of those like jersey things, and it'll say CG Pool Boy.
That's right.
We will do something, and okay, so we'll have some fun with that. And again, it's the American Cancer Society fundraiser that we're doing, and we'll be setting up the Tiltify page where you'll get more ability to see this. If you want to donate though now, before next week, there is the link that is to the ACS page, and something that you guys mentioned for the last campaign that we worked on this time. So this is a page directly to the American Cancer Society. That link, it goes to our team fundraising. And so if you guys have companies and stuff that match, you can donate directly to the link, aim.acsevents.org/go-to/reality2gamers. No. I saw what that started with. I'm not. No, I'm gonna finish this first.
The law offices of Grande and Grande.
That's popping up, so you can go directly to our team page for the American Cancer Society, and you can donate there. And hopefully, I think that should work for most of you guys that have companies that match your donations. So if you want to do that, that is available to you. Again, the Tiltify page is going to come. We're working on the web page too. And now I'll read this last thing as we close out the stream. Ranger, you ready? Helmet Fulgrim says the law offices of Grande and Grande represent Val Bacon and Ted Danson.
Boom shakalaka! Boom shakalaka! That's all they absolutely freaking do. I'm telling you.
And it is funded by Scrooge McDougal.
He's our best client.
Oh my God.
Oh God. Oh God.
You'll find it. God. You'll find it in the Delta Force building, in the room once occupied by President George Jefferson. We need to end the stream now.
Oh God.
We need to end the stream now.
Have another great rest of your day. Oh.